birth and death. And no father should beget a child if he is not able to protect him from the cruel death and again taking birth in this world. So these are the four natural gurus. So these kings were like fathers, and they were training the citizen on that way. When Maharaj Dasrath ruled Ayodhya, a great sage Vishwamitra once came to him to take away Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman to the forest to kill demon. When the saintly person Vishwamitra came to the court of Maharaj Dasrath, the king, in order to receive the saintly person, asked him, Ahishtam yattat punar janma jayaya. He asked the sage whether everything was going on well in his endeavor to conquer repetition, birth and death. So these are the always people used to ask when the saintly king, when he meet the saintly person, the talk was, are you really controlling your mind and senses? Are you really chanting holy name? Are you able to control the repeated birth and death? This was the talk of the time. Dasrath was one of the Raj Rishis. In his kingdom, no son dies when father is alive. Everybody has a beautiful palace to live in, and everybody has a golden crown to put on the head and golden earrings to put in the ears when they go out. And there was nobody sick and nobody suffering, no hospital opening in Ayodhya. There was no doctor's business at all. Everybody was free from all anxiety. I was speaking once on this topic somewhere. In those days, the citizens used to have golden crowns. Now they have only helmet to put on the head. Now helmet society has arisen from the golden crown society has become helmet society, and earrings are no more there, only earphones are hanging in the ears of the modern foolish civilization and listening nonsense all day. So this, because the kings are not really training the citizen on the way back home, back to Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada writes, he asked the sage whether everything is going on well in his endeavor to conquer the repetition of birth and death. The whole process of Vedic civilization is based on this point. We must know how to conquer the repetition of birth and death. Maharaj Raghugan also knew the purpose of life. Therefore, when Jadvarabharta put philosophy of life before him, he immediately appreciated it. This is the foundation of Vedic society. Learned scholars, Brahmins, saintly persons, and sages who were fully aware of the Vedic purpose advised the royal order how to benefit general masses. Now the kings previously kings were enthroned by Abhishek, by saintly people. And then there was always a beautiful crown coming from the dynasties, and they used to crown the king. Is there any king on the planet now who has a Abhishek by the saintly people? The present kings are selected by Abhishek of the wine bottles to the voters. They are selected by giving the wine bottle to the voters and then they are selected as a king. Any king has any crown now? Then why they are called kings? This is the worst civilization. Prabhupada used to call democracy means demon's curse. It's a demon's curse. It is so useless. The value of the vote of a Supreme Court's judge and a criminal yet not found is same. The value of the vote of a vice chancellor of a university and an illiterate person who don't know anything about anything, the value of the vote is same. So what is the value? And these people are selected by this method by few people. They want to enjoy and they promise some enjoyment, and both are bluffing one another and nothing is happening. So Prabhupada's here purpose is focusing mainly how the kings used to take care of the citizen and how self-realized those kings. Oh, those kings were always having satsang. They were having always saintly person giving them advice. And saintly person always giving the advice for the king also to retire timely and train the citizens on a proper discipline of Vedic civilization. Prabhupada is very heavy what he's saying. This is Vedic civilization. This is Vedic civilization. This is Vedic society. So Vedic purpose advised the royal order how to benefit general masses, and by their cooperation the general masses are benefited. So there are two powers. One is called Brahma Teja, another is called Kshatriya Teja. Kshatriya Teja means ruler class power, and the Brahma Teja means the knowledge of the qualified Brahmins, saintly people. If they work together, then there will be peace and prosperity, and then there will be Vedic civilization training the people to go home back to Godhead. But now there is no Brahma Tej, there is nobody. Vyasadeva was Brahma Tej for the Pandavas, and Bhisham Pitama was a Kshatriya Tej. He was the Kshatriya powerful person, and Vyasadeva was the learned scholar. When they were working together, then at that time people were peaceful. This type of civilization is needed, where the rulers or the administrator, they must have a council of Brahmins to give them the right direction, because the one who is the administrator, he has to work in a mode of patience. So he is always in anxiety. Therefore he needs the advice by people who are in mode of goodness, Brahmins, to guide them in a right direction. Otherwise he will make many mistakes, and this is applicable to everywhere. Here even we sometimes request we have a Brahmanical council sometime to advise the people who are sitting in an administrative post, because they need help from the Brahmanical council for the right direction. Otherwise they will make mistake. There is no doubt about this. So there must be a Brahmanical advice. Therefore everything was successful. Maharaj Rahukan attained this perfection of understanding the value of human life. Therefore he regretted his insulting words to Jad Bharat, and he immediately descended from his palanquin and fell down at the feet of Jad Bharat in order to be excused and to hear from him further about the value of the life known as Brahma Jigyasa, in inquiry into the absolute truth. So what Srila Prabhupada is writing here, you just imagine 1 minute. King is going in a palanquin. King never goes alone. He must have his own whole entourage, his minister, his wives, servants, is right? In front of all those people who are his subjects, he jumped down and bowed down to this Brahman who was looking like almost Avadhuta, not having any etiquette of material identification. This is the proof that king has given up false ego. Even here, if we have some friend, then really we are not feeling to pay obeisance to saintly person, what my friend will say. We are so much self-centered that here all these people, says king cannot go alone. He is always have his entourage with him, his army, commander, everybody. And in front of all those he fell down. And he was getting, I am sorry I offended you. Please forgive me. Not only this, please enlighten me. Forgive me and enlighten me. Please. So this is the symptom. This king is qualified. And then Jad Bharat will speak him now, at least this is 10 chapter, 4 more chapter, 11, 12, 13, 14. In this there is instruction of Jad Bharat to Maharaj Rahugan, and through Maharaj Rahugan to all the administrator of the world and all the living entities of the world. His explanation and instruction are wonderful. It's very difficult to read, it is more difficult to understand, and it is very hard to realize. Only King Rahugan was able to realize. If we read it at least 10 times, then we'll understand what he's teaching. His teachings, what is called forest. The two chapters are called Bhavati, or a person who is lost in a forest. This is called, these chapters are called Okay, now the few lines of purport, let's be. At the present moment, now Prabhupada is preaching, at the present moment, high government officials are ignorant of the value of life. And when saintly person endeavor to broadcast the Vedic knowledge, the so-called executive do not offer their respectful obeisances, but try to broadcast, obstruct the spiritual propaganda. Now this is Prabhupada's realization. Previously, king used to help the saintly people to preach. Now the government is stopping sadhu from preaching. Prabhupada has personal experience. Many devotees were put in jail when they were distributing books. When there was kirtan going on 4 o'clock in the morning, and then the neighbor used to say, this is a nuisance. Prabhupada says, this is the time to wake up and start your praying and chant the holy name, and you are sleeping, we are waking you up. We are doing good service and you are thinking we are giving you the bad time and we are disturbing your sleep. We are here to wake you up, but people are objecting and they are making many court cases and suits everywhere. So this is what Prabhupada is writing, is a realization. Government are obstructing the preaching of the... Thus one can say that the former kingly government was like heaven. This is Prabhupada's last word. Former kingly governments was like heaven, and that the present government is like hell. Okay? Prabhupada's last comment is, kingly governments were heaven and present governments are hell. So everybody is suffering with anxiety because there is no proper ruler. The proper rulers are not properly trained by the saintly people, and the saintly peoples are also not recognized like Jad birth, because they are there but nobody recognizes them. There is nobody Rahugun that can really get advantage of these saintly people. Prabhupada said all the devotees of this ISKCON are Vishnu Dutas. They are traversing all over the world to reclaim the people like Ajamel who are engrossed in material enjoyment. So we have to do our job irrespective of opposition from any quarters. We simply care that Krishna care for us. And Prabhupada's mood was, you preach so much so that the general people become devotee, and then they select the right person as their rulers. Then one devotee becomes sometime, even one commissioner of one district, whole district will become Krishna conscious. If some devotee one day becomes the minister, the prime minister, chief minister of some part of the world, that part of the world become whole Krishna consciousness. So our main business is like Jad Bharat, don't care for anything, preach, preach and preach, make many people to understand this philosophy, to select the right person and to get the heavenly government on this planet. Heavenly government, more than heavenly, generally the government which was ruled, Krishna came simply to establish dharma. He said, I came here to establish dharma, and he established Dharmaraj Yudhishthira. And for that he has to have a Mahabharata war. He was ready to behead millions of people to establish dharma. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in the mood of not having weapons but having kartal and mridang, and having so much sankirtan really to make the people like Jagai and Madhai a great devotees. So we have to follow the method of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by having kartal and mridang and going and walking in every street and every corner of the world and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Don't be afraid of anybody. Krishna will walk behind a bold devotee. Like Prahlad was preaching to the worst atheist of the world, Hiranyakashipu, and of him, Hiranyakashipu, even the Indra was afraid. But Prahlad was so bold. And behind Prahlad, Narasimhadev was watching. When Hiranyakashipu pointed his finger like this, where is your God? Narasimhadev focused his complete vision on the finger of Hiranyakashipu. He was saying, wherever he put his finger, I have to appear from there. Because I have to make words of my devotee true. So, Narasimhadev was not looking at Prahlad, he was looking at the finger of Hiranyakashipu. He said, in this pillar, and immediately Narasimhadev entered into the prayer. He was already there as a super soul, but he manifested from there. So, remember that Krishna is always following his sincere, bold devotees. And there is no risk for any devotee, but Krishna will put us in some risk for 11 hours, but on 12th hour he will come on our rescue. So we have to have a passion for 11 hours, like Rukmani was waiting, Brahman will come with a message. It was only last day left, she was in anxiety, but at 11th hour the Brahman came and Krishna came and rescued Mother Rukmani from the Jarasandha's company and Shishupal. So similarly, preach, preach, preach. Don't be afraid of anybody. And Krishna, Bhajaure Manasri Nandanandana Bhayacharanar, be fearless by chanting holy name of Krishna. Preach, 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 preach. And this temple, millions of people coming in a month, everybody should get Hare Krishna, at least in their heart. Boli Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Krishna! Hare Hare! Hare Rama! Hare Rama! Rama Rama! Hare Hare! Thank you very much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.